in the end, I just say it's all about making sure it's comfortable for you to own the property, because if you make it decent to own the property, it'll be a lot easier for you to keep adding more to your portfolio. If it's miserable having your property, you probably won't add that many more. Hello and welcome to today's video, in which we are going to see one of our tenants who's got plumbing issues. Wah, wah, wah. So let me talk you through today's agenda. I was going out to this property anyways, because we have a workshop there that's full of some stuff that I'm bringing to my brother-in-law. So it's not all in vain. Normally I wouldn't go help a renter with a problem like this, because it's just a clogged kitchen sink, which is most likely because of their flushing cold food grease into the sink. But since I'm going anywhere, I'm gonna go help him and keeps him in a good mood and all that kind of stuff. We're also gonna swing by, so this is normally how I think about these things. This is a little top tip. I know this video is supposed to be on whether you should hire property management or do it yourself, and we're gonna get to that. But first, a little top tip. I like to do a lot of stuff myself, and I find it easier to do it because I know it's really expensive to hire it out. So if I have an option, say, to fix a plumbing issue for either, $300, or I can spend 2 hours of my own afternoon getting it done, I love going that afternoon and getting it done, and then use part of the money I save for some luxury spendings, or to go do something fun, or take my wife on a fun dinner or something like that, buy a nice steak, whatever works, but like, go use that money for something fun. The hourly wage you can get, if you look at it that way, from doing some of those repairs yourself versus hiring it all out, can very often exceed $100 an hour, $200 an hour, which to me, since I have a lot of time on my hands and kind of like accomplishing or like solving some issues, can feel really good. So a lot of times I enjoy doing those things myself. But anyway, today's agenda, we'll go to Chick-fil-A on the way down because they make the best chicken sandwiches. Go help the renter load up the boxes that I'm going to bring to my brother-in-law, and then since we're in the area, I think I want to go take you with me as I take a swim in. There's like a crystal clear river over there. And as we drive, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about this here, property management versus taking care of your properties yourself. A little bit about our background. So me and my wife, we own properties. As anyone who's seen my videos before know that we own properties in Sweden and Florida, and we live a little bit in each country, so there's always going to be some remote properties for us. But we've still decided, as of today, we're all managing all of them ourselves, and we solve most issues by we keep all contact to our tenants through emails only. And when we do that, like when we keep all our contact through emails, we can be reached no matter if we're like in the United States or in Sweden. Our Florida tenants can always reach us, and we can get back to them promptly. And the second part of that is that when you do only email contact with your tenants, you have everything in writing. And to me, that's very valuable, because with everything in writing, you avoid anyways a lot of the disputes about who said what, or what was promised, or what should have been done. Like, everything is always going to be in writing, and that makes it really neat to have that track record with you, if that makes sense. So I like doing it on email, and that works out good for us. Then we have people both here and in Sweden. We're very lucky to have great families who often help us. So it's not unusual that we get help from my mother-in-law or my brother in Sweden or some local friends to sort out some issues if they're very minor ones. And then if there is bigger ones, plumbers is always quite smooth, because you know, plumbers, they have their agenda. They're really expensive most times. I find them a little overpriced, but they're always there and they know what to do. So like if there's plumbing issue, a plumber will like more or less always take care of what needs to be taken care of. Same with electrician and electrical problems. Appliances is also quite easy, because most companies that sell appliances will also go out and install them or take the old ones away. So you can most often get through those things quite easily as well. Then if there's carpentry and like weird miscellaneous repairs, those are what can get quite difficult to deal with sometimes. I haven't found any great way around it. What we do now is, in Sweden, I have some good context to carpenters and builders and stuff, since we're in the business of selling and delivering new houses, and we'll do some repairs for others and stuff. So we got a good network there, which makes it work out. And then I have one tenant in Sweden and one tenant here in the United States that are pretty good with some of that stuff too. So we can often get help from one of those tenants of ours with the miscellaneous repairs. And that has worked out pretty good. So that's sort of how we run ours. And I can compare that to running it with the property manager, because we used to have a property manager for some properties here in Florida. That went a little sour though, as it might have been partly our own fault, because we negotiated her fee really hard. So we got it down from 10% to 6%, because we had a few properties together and said then we want, a better deal for it. But it ended up being a bit of a mess. So she ended up starting a fight with one of our tenants, and then she never managed to find tenants for another unit we had sitting empty for like a few months without nothing happening. And so we got more and more involved, and eventually we just figured we don't even need her in between us and the tenants, because it just causes weird communication glitches. So we decided to go back to doing it ourselves. But I can definitely see the comfort if you hire someone to do it all for you. It's quite nice. You take a big part of that emotional stuff out of the game, and the emotional part is usually the hardest one when it comes to doing these things. If you want to read more about that experience we had with property managers and weighing them together, or want more details on this subject, I did write one of my chapters in the book about just that. A good property management company will be quite convenient for you, as they do all the contact with the renters. They find the renters for you, and as soon as there's any issues, they'll send their people out to fix it for you. And sometimes they have good enough connections to actually get you better deals on a lot of those little repairs than what you would have had to pay on your own. So you buy the house, you make sure it's in order, and then it's off your plate. They usually charge around 10% of your yearly rental income, plus half or full first month's rent every time they find a new tenant for you. Most of the liability legal stuff is on them, not you. And the goal in my world, the way we run ours, is that you're not, if you manage to not be too emotionally involved, the information the tenants send you, and the way we work then, is that we get an email where something is broken or something is wrong, and we can then decide on going out to do it ourselves, or send it to one of our contacts to go fix it for us and just pay that bill. And that means we save 10% of our rental income by being willing to take those nasty emails at times and make sure to answer them and make a plan for solving those problems. If you find it emotionally rough to deal with that, then you're better off having the management company. You will also benefit from the management company, I'd say, if your properties are far away from where you live, or widely spread, or let's say you have another job that you're running and this is just your side income. Then all those things can add to the benefits of having a property management company.